Dan Illman, Mike Beer with the third of three stakes races at Belmont Park on Sunday. Race number 8 is going 1.5 miles on the turf. It is the Zagora Stakes for fillies and mares. Play the race with a DRF Bets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com. Receive a 300% deposit match. Here's the field for the Zagora. Weather permitting at 1.5 miles on the turf. Several horses entered main track only. The 1, the 2, the 3, and the 6 are the main track only runners. Mike, in this race, let's talk a little bit about the number 8, Violet Blue, going out for Jimmy Toner and Joel Rosario. This horse, I thought, ran pretty well 2 starts back when wired by Lady Joan. Last time out, I'm not going to hold that Ramsey Farm race against her. I thought she caught a good field. Distance, I don't think, is going to be a problem for her. But I think she's the kind of filly that needs a little bit of luck from a trip standpoint.
Yeah, I think that's true. And to be honest, Dan, I'm not sure how much I want her anymore. She had me for a brief moment earlier this year. I did not like her at all last year. She came back off the layup. Her first one off the layup this year. She ran really well to win that race with a 90 buyer. And I thought she had a tough trip in her next start in the River Memories when Homeland Security beat her. I didn't think she had an easy trip at all that day. I got to disagree with you 2 starts back. To me, that's a race she was supposed to win. And that was the race where she lost me again. I liked her that day. I thought that was a great spot for her to win, and I thought she was supposed to win, and she didn't get there. I don't care about her last race all that much, but I'm just not sure how much I want to go back to her anymore.
Morning line favorite, the number 10, Chipolata for West Point Thoroughbreds, will be trying older horses for the first time, but she ran really well in the Belmont Oaks, her first and only start in North America. I mean, she was basically buried down towards the inside in the early portion of the race, eased widest turning into the stretch, and she came with a good solid rally to finish ahead of a couple of next out winners, one of them Fatal Beret returning to win the Grade 1 Delmar Oaks with a 94 buyer speed figure, but she's been away since that start, and she's never gone 1.5 miles, and those might be 2 reasons why you might want to try to beat her at a short price.
Yeah, I think that's true. If she does go off the favorite in this race, and I realize that the 91 buyer that she ran in her stateside debut makes her really tough in here, but if she does go off the favorite, I'm trying to beat this horse. I'll take nothing away from her for her Belmont Oaks, but I think it's at least worth remembering that, first of all, she was no match for Athena in that race. Athena won that race very easily with a similar trip to the one this horse got. And, you know, there were a bunch of other 3-year-old fillies in that race who just didn't want to go that far. To me, that race totally fell apart at the end. She just got third in there in a blanket finish behind Athena. She ran well, but she didn't run that well. And if she's going to be around 2-1 in this race, I'm just going to bet against her.
Another horse making her second start in North America is the number 7, Queen of Connaught. And let's just say that the North American debut against the boys in the Bald Eagle Derby didn't go as planned for Tom Worley. I don't think they were expecting a 1 buyer speed figure. What happened that day? Was it the ground?
It could have been the ground. Maybe she was just in a little bit too tough. I don't know. She didn't run that well. I suspect that she'll run a lot better in this race. Her European form is fine. She ran well going this distance over there. I could see this horse running a lot better on Sunday. But the problem for her is if it was the yielding ground, she might catch similar conditions on Sunday at Belmont.
Distance could be a question for the number 12, True Egyptian, 20-1 on the morning line. For a barn that's done well with turf marathoners in the past, her last race is just an utter pitch on the dirt where she just missed the break completely. But 2 starts back at Presque Isle Downs, I thought she did some good things. She beat a couple of minor next out winners, and she overcame a very slow pace. Just not sure she's good enough to win a race like this, and she has to prove it at a longer distance.
Right. I mean, she has a lot working against her. I do think she'll be a good price in this race if you like her. And she's got some races from last year that put her on the cusp of being competitive in this race. It's all about distance, but you're going to get paid if you're right about her, if you think she wants to go this far.
Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for this race. And they got True Egyptian out there on the lead, and I'm not really that surprised about that because, again, she is stretching out in distance. Something tells me that the 5, Beau Bell, still a maiden for Tommy Albertrani. She's going to show some speed as well. She appears to like this additional distance. She has improved since being stretched out to longer distances. She's now going to stretch out another 1/4 mile. Again, it's tough to take a maiden in this kind of race, but maybe she gets a favorable trip up close.
Yeah, maybe she will get the right kind of trip in this race and get a piece of it. It would be hard, to me, it's hard to make her win this race. Her last 2 races, first 2 for Albertrani, are fine. I mean, she ran fine both times. But I don't think if she runs one of those two races, she's likely to win this.
I think an interesting sort of board play in here is the number 4, Giovanna Blues. Last race on dirt, not interested, don't think she can stand up on dirt. Her race 2 starts back. She was going at a distance that's just too short for her, 7.5 furlongs. Her races before that aren't bad, especially the Robert G. Dick at Delaware going 11 furlongs, where she didn't break very well. She was last on the rail entering the final turn. She altered course to the far outside, and she finished second to a nice horse and Tricky Escape. If she runs that race, she has a chance here.
Yeah, I agree with all that stuff. If she runs that race, she's going to be really tough in this race. I don't necessarily like her running style that much, where she just comes from way out of it every time they run her, but I do think she's a dangerous horse.
We're going to take a look at our top selections for the Zagora Stakes. We handicap this race for the turf. You like the number 11, Golden Attitude, another horse making her second start in North America. I just thought she was visually impressive winning that race at Delaware. I know it was a race she was supposed to win. She was 4-5 despite being away for a long time. But boy, she overcame a lot, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the pace wasn't fast at all in that race. Once she got into the clear in the stretch, though, I liked the way that she leveled off it and beat that field. She won it, I thought, easier than the neck margin suggests. And I thought it was a perfect jumping off point for her as they now stretch her out for a second start. This is probably more like what she wants to do anyway. They went long with her in France as a 3-year-old. You can see the horses that she was running against over there, some really good fillies in France as a 3-year-old she was facing. I just think this is a great spot for her, especially if she can just take a step forward off of that stateside debut.
She's still unexposed. She's trained by a phenomenal horseman in Arnaud Delacour, and she has a pedigree to die for. She's by that Australian stalwart stallion Ray Dowd's Choice out of a half-sister to Goldakova. So Golden Attitude certainly has a lot of things going for her. Homeland Security's got Chad Brown going for him, and he is a stakes winner at Belmont going 1.5 miles. He won the River Memories 2 starts back after getting a nice trip and ride from Arad Ortiz that day. Listen, she had no shot last time out in the Glens Falls. That was a race where if you were even 3 lengths off that pace, you had no chance to win, considering the fractions that Lady Montour set en route to a gate-to-wire score. This horse was last, entering the second of 2 of 3 turns. She was forced widest turning into the stretch. I'm just drawing a line through that race. She was facing much better horses, and she had no shot the way the race shaped up.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think she's the horse to beat in this race. You don't worry about distance. You don't really worry about trip with her. She usually gets a good one. I think she's the horse to beat. I don't think she lays over this field, but she's certainly pretty good. The one thing that I do worry about with her is it seems like she really wants firm ground.
Good point.
Her races on less than firm turf are not very good, and I just wonder she's sure, if we're on the turf, she's sure to catch something way less than firm on Sunday. That would worry me, but I do think in a lot of ways she's the horse to beat.
A good point to be sure. Homeland Security's second choice on the morning line. Mike's going with Golden Attitude, 5-1, lots to like there. I'm going with Homeland Security, 9-10-4-5 for me in the Zagora, the third of 3 stakes at Belmont on Sunday. Hopefully we stay on the turf. Rain or shine, bet the races with DRF Bets. Sign up at bets.drf.com. Access a 300% deposit match just in time for the Breeders' Cup. Approximate post time for the Zagora, 4:35 Eastern on Sunday at Belmont. Good luck.